kind of two-part. First with you guys as partners, guys and gals, excuse me, and then to do this in front of your customer-facing. So after we're done with this presentation today, feel free to send us any other kind of suggestions you've got about maybe some additional content or focus you might think fits on that second presentation. We've got Alex Broom here, who's been on my team. Some of you may have seen Alex in action, some other webcasts that we've done. Alex joined us here on the sales engineering side about a year ago, but before that, he was actually on the team, the engineering team that launched the product internally, going back 4 years ago here at CBTS, the Meraki, what we call Network as a Service. Excited to have Jeff and Amir. You guys, thank you. We're going to turn it over to you a little later to kind of give us a demo and some other detail on the Meraki and Cisco side. So thank you very much for joining us. We've done another webcast with these guys before, and they do a great job. So as Gabby said, please, as we go through this, any kind of question you've got, does the product do this? Do customers think about this? Did you missed something on a value proposition you saw somewhere? Please pass it on. I wanted to just kind of give you a couple of slides first to let you guys know as partners really kind of our pedigree or what we've been doing in this space. We're a Cisco Gold partner now for over 16 years, and really have got a lot of investment in the Cisco practice. We were really one of the industry leaders in starting to take groups of Cisco services like UCaaS in particular. We were very early on in that, going back 16 years ago, where we took the Cisco Call Manager product and turned that into a service, and have been very successful with that. And so we put a lot of energy into our practice, right? A lot of time spent in Cisco certifications, investments with employees, investments with practices, and we've been lucky enough to see some kinds of the awards that we've gotten here on the left. So this is really just to let you know kind of how serious we are with investment into the Cisco portfolio and to turn these services into what we call Cisco as a Service, if you would. The whole mix of packages, kind of products that we've taken here, really cover a lot of what Cisco's doing today in the small to medium-sized business. Now, when I say small to medium-sized segment, I'm kind of talking about, customers with employees from 10 to 10,000. That's really where Meraki can play. Meraki can play in a lot of space, really. But we've taken Cisco technology, if you would, and brought it into our UCaaS and CCaaS, our Unified Communications as a Service, and our contact center as a service. We've spent a lot of time in Cisco technologies on the security side, right? Cisco's got a lot of offerings, particularly their umbrella offering, that start to fit really interestingly into, SD-WAN offerings like Meraki. And those things can fit together. We might talk a little bit today about it, but security's been a very large section of the Cisco portfolio that we bring to you guys and your customers as a managed service. Cloud networking, really what kind of term for our network as a service, where we're going to talk about Meraki, has just been a hugely expanding offering for us. We put on literally 500 customers in 5,000 locations just in the last 3.5 years in this product. And it's all really about what you're going to see today, kind of this revolution of cloud orchestration of everything in your LAN infrastructure. Whether you're talking about, security or SD-WAN edge, Ethernet switches, access points, cameras, now IoT sensors. You're going to hear about that today. But really now this world of being able to log into one cloud orchestration layer and see every device in your network, every user. I mean, if you wanted to go down and do a Wireshark capture of an Ethernet port of your installation in Australia, it's all from one interface. So I think you're going to see some interesting things today. WebEx and the collaboration suite. For those of you who are not aware, Cisco just recently collapsed both their WebEx meetings offering and WebEx Teams into the new WebEx client. And it's really become a game changer. They're going very hard at both Microsoft, their Teams offering, or the Zoom offering. And so there's a lot of exciting things that we'll probably be doing some more webcasts here in 2021 about how the new WebEx collaboration suite is really kind of expanding Cisco's portfolio reach in that category. Infrastructure in general, right? Whether it's a Meraki stack or bringing other Cisco elements we do. I listed wireless separate, even though it's part of the Meraki stack, the cloud networking, because we do have a lot of expertise as well in difficult wireless environments, being able to maybe do some wireless scans, some design and locations, etc. And believe it or not, SmartNet still continues to be a revenue generator. So those are some, for those of you who are dealing with Cisco customers who have SmartNet contracts, we can actually help you monetize that, help you bring a service to your customer where you're in there helping them with SmartNet, and maybe that's a way in to help them with other parts of the Cisco portfolio. And then SD-WAN in particular is exploding for us. So I just wanted to give you a couple of quick slides about the fact that we are very much invested in the Cisco practice, been doing it for almost 2 decades now. And really our whole goal is taking this, the kind of the Cisco portfolio of services and turning that into a service for your customers as a managed service to get you in the revenue stream and to bring a new value proposition really for the customer. I want to turn it over to Alex and really have him talk a little bit about that idea of what the value proposition is and what we've been seeing out there of, because in the past people just, they bought a router, they bought a switch, they bought an access point, they owned it, and they plugged it in and they hoped it was going to run for a long time. But that's really changing, and people are wanting now, some help on managing that LAN infrastructure. So Alex, I'm going to turn over to you. I've got a slide that you put together, but I'm going to turn it over to you and kind of give a little feedback on some of the things you've been seeing in this value proposition for this offering.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And I think the title of the slide is As a Service Advantages. I want to call out 2 things. I put these logos on here specifically because of how important they are to CBTS. So first, I just want to point out that our whole practice, everything we do here is all about putting the customer first. And really that is a white glove experience from the very first sales engagement all the way through to support. That's our model. That's how we go to market. And one of the things that's great for you guys is that makes you guys heroes, right? That's our mission as a member of this partner channel, is to make our partners heroes. And we do that by putting the customer first. So I'll put that out first. That is something that we really believe in 110%. And I think that starts with our approach and how we go to market, how we talk to customers from a sales side, even in pre-sale engineering, right? When Matt and I get on the phone, when other counterparts of ours get on the phone to talk to your customers, it's more than just about, pushing product or, selling the newfangled thing. It's really about listening to them, understanding what their needs and challenges are, and putting together solutions that fit and align with their actual strategy as an IT organization. And I think that's the key, right? This model, the reason it exists, this as a service model, it doesn't just exist here with Meraki and CBTS. It exists in other key areas as well. And the reason is that, there's a transformation going on in IT to move the whole concept of IT to a services model that is centered around predictable outcomes. Well, as a network engineer, I spent the better part of my career trying to build things that deliver predictable results. That's the whole goal of network engineering, right? When you build firewall rules and you put switches out there and you build this wireless infrastructure, the idea is to give every single client that joins the network a consistent user experience that allows them to, not have problems, that get to their job, be effective, be efficient. That's what we're all driving for. And that's at the backbone of what as a service means, is to take the IT doers and get them focused on strategic growth initiatives, get them out of the day-to-day weeds, take the majority of the burden of tech refreshes, ongoing management, monitoring. Those are all things that CBTS does in this as a service offering. I think I'm not going to read through every single one of these points here, but I think that, the reason that we're coming to you and talking to you about Meraki is that, obviously our partnership with Cisco is very strong. And the reason that's key is that, CBTS is able to bring a really great technology like Meraki that Cisco has developed and bring it to your customer in a way that's easy for them to consume, that makes sense for their business, and that can actually get them on the right path to making the transformations that they want to make. So I'm going to pause just for a minute and ask Matt, to kind of elaborate as well on what he's seen and how we've been successful in that.
Oh no, you brought up a couple of key points. You put the word boat anchor there. we're seeing more and more customers, right, that this whole movement to the cloud is about, I want to get a solution that's going to take care of a business outcome for me from a partner, and I don't know what my technology is going to be 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road. And so the idea that we can come in, even on the Meraki stack, and deliver it flexibly to give people the ability to upgrade. Let's say they've got a site with 50 employees today and they acquire another company and they move to 150. We can just bring additional resources in and deliver that all as, you know, coterminous with the agreement that we've got with that customer. We've also got other customers we've had that have said, hey, listen, you know, our business, we turn down 3 stores every quarter, but we add 3 new ones somewhere else. And so we're flexible in being able to even put downturn in those clauses. So it's really about, on the sales engineering side for us, you know, coming in and trying to understand what are the business outcomes somebody's looking for, seeing whether this stack's going to deliver those business outcomes, and then putting it together in a flexible contractual way that's going to meet their needs. And that's been a big bonus. And the other thing I'll add too, Alex, and I think you kind of mentioned it, is that we also know how to stay in our swim lanes. I talked about that whole mix of Cisco services, but we can deliver this along with, let's say you're selling Ring Central, or you've got some other product you're bringing to the customer. You know, we also know how to make you a hero, and that you ask us to come in and talk about a particular solution, we're going to stay in that swim lane. So, yeah, thank you, Alex.
Yeah, perfect. And I just kind of wanted to add one more piece before we move on. And that's going back to the way we build partnerships with the customer, right? What makes sense is to do the right thing by the customer. And part of that is to make it a service that's easy to understand and consume. So, you know, design, configuration, and install, these are included with our product. We don't, you know, hit your customer with a huge PS fee. We don't hit your customer with big upfront expenses to purchase equipment. You know, those are all things that we kind of talked about, right? We want it to be a flexible service. We want to be able to, you know, take locations down if business changes for a customer, but, you know, pop up new stores in other places, or maybe new facilities. You know, I mean, look at this year, you know, with COVID, we've had multiple engagements where, you know, unfortunately some customers contracted, but other customers, you know, particularly in healthcare, needed facilities and they needed them fast. Yep. And that's kind of the power of this technology, but also the power of the service that CBTS brings. It's not just a box, it's an entire thing, it's a wrapper.
All right, well, fantastic, Alex, thank you. Last thing you did mention there, this is all supported locally here. This is all onshore support in the United States. So the other thing is that, and we allow co-management on this as well. So when we deliver the solutions you're talking about here, this is not a black box. In the past, when somebody heard a term managed, it was considered a black box and they couldn't get to it. We're delivering it. They've got full co-management capabilities. They can make rule changes themselves, yet we're still there to pick up the pieces if they make a mistake. And that is all supported here onshore. So, all right, well, I want to turn it over to Jeff and Amir right now. As I said, this is kind of a second webcast that we've done with this team. And they're going to go in and show you really some of the real nuts and bolts and some of the workings inside this product, and then get to some of the value as well that they show. So go ahead, Amir. I'll turn it over to you and Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Give me just a second here to go ahead and share my screen. All right, bear with me one quick second here, guys. All right, you guys able to see my screen okay?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Well, 2 points I want to reiterate before we kind of get into the dashboard demo here is 2 points that Alex brought up that I think are absolutely spot on. And I think they're in direct alignment with what it is that we see and really the goals here and mission at Meraki. Number one is customer first. At Meraki, that is the heartbeat of our organization, and we really strive on putting the customer first. And I'm going to show you exactly in the dashboard here what we also mean by that. And in addition to that, our goal is to solve problems. So when we look at our technology, how we innovate, how we continue to build new products, it's strictly to solve customer problems, and it's direct feedback from our customers and from our partners that continues to drive our innovation. And the second point is really what we are seeing is absolutely a transformation in the way that customers are consuming IT, and specifically as a service model. I remember meeting with a customer a few years back, and he said it best. He said, I'm looking for a single hand to shake, a single back to pat, and a single throat to choke. And I think what we're seeing in today's world is that these customers want to be able to call in to their service provider, be able to have a one-stop shop that can do everything, as opposed to having multiple providers and, again, different arms and people not taking ownership quickly and effectively to remedy a problem or a situation, which is, again, very, very big. And I think the Meraki interface and the Meraki product line fits this story very, very well. So what I'm showing here, guys, is the actual Meraki dashboard. And this is exactly what your customer would see when they log into their network. And really what I'm going to do is give you kind of a quick overview of Meraki and really what the dashboard interface has to offer. But with that, one thing I do want to point out is Meraki is a platform, and CBTS does this best, is that your customer may have the need or desire today for wireless, but ultimately what are we looking to do is to, again, consult with your customer and provide a solution that really brings value. So when you talk about, and everyone talks about today, a single pane of glass, there is no other cloud networking provider in the market today that offers 8 different products, all managed, configured, and visibly displayed all through a single point of administration. And that's exactly what you're seeing here today and exactly what I'm going to demo for you. So this solution works very, very well for customers who have, again, a few locations or have multiple locations or even thousands of locations. If I go in the dashboard, I quickly get a nice overview of what's going on. I can see I have 2 uplinks connected. They're healthy. I have 2 security appliances, and I can see the number of appliances across my actual network. But in addition to that, if I had multiple organizations, I can click Organization Overview. And what's going to happen here is I will see all the different organizations that I have, no matter where they are over the globe. So Meraki, we have offices all throughout the globe. We have an office in San Francisco. We have an office in London. We also have an office in the UK. And you can see here all the different offices that we have across the globe. And if I hover over this particular office, I can see how many devices are on the network, how many networks we truly have. If I want to get a quick high-level overview of how each of those actual locations and those networks are performing, I can quickly see that. And I can also search them very quickly here. So I type in London, all my London organizations pop up, and I can quickly press on one of these and go directly into that particular network. In addition to that, on the left-hand side, I can see all the different products that we have in this particular organization. So again, whether it's security and SD-WAN, switching, wireless, cameras, our IoT sensors, our SaaS application software, et cetera. So let's go back to the network-wide clients page and just kind of show you what type of visibility that you'll be able to see and what your customers actually have at the palm of their fingertips to be able, again, to better understand what's going on in the network and how CBTS can offer a phenomenal managed service solution for your customer. So obviously right now with COVID, we have many
Amir, this is Matt, real quick. Is it possible for you to make your screen a little less wide and some of the, the type a little larger?
Yeah, absolutely. Is that better?
If you show that full screen there, yeah.
Let me do this. I'm actually going to stop sharing and I'm going to put this down on my smaller screen. Bear with me one quick
I
second.
think that might be better. It's a little too wide, yeah.
Yep, no problem. Appreciate that, Matt. Thank you.
Another thing that you guys can do also inside the WebEx app is there is a plus button on the left-hand side once he starts sharing, and that can kind of zoom in on what he's looking at too to make it bigger too.
That's a great tip. While Amir's pulling that back up, let me throw this out.
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
It is much better.
Perfect. No
I
problem.
get asked this question all the time. One of the cool things about this being a single pane of glass and providing all this visibility is that you get the same look that Amir's currently showing right now, this client view, whether you have one device installed or a whole host of devices. So even if you had a customer that, as Matt mentioned earlier or Amir mentioned earlier, maybe they're only looking for wireless today and they don't have all the other devices yet in their network. And I say yet because I bet they will slowly become a more Meraki-centric customer. They'll still get the same visibility. So you're not giving up features just because, you don't buy the full stack, which is a really cool benefit of this platform.
Yeah, great point, Alex. Great point. So with that, guys, here again, we're seeing all the different client devices that are connected. So right now we can see there's 1,859 clients connected. I can go down here and take a look at all the different device types. If I wanted to actually see here 300 per page, I can see again your hardwired clients. I can see your wireless clients. I can see again people who are connected. You'll see this little Earth type of rotation ball. This means they're connected via VPN. But I have an abundance of information at the palm of my fingertips, what type of operating software they're using, the IP address, etc. But let's get into some particular products and give you a little bit of the visibility of what's going on. Wireless is a big one. Everywhere you go nowadays, it seems like everyone is connecting via wireless. I can hover over wireless, I click on access points, and I can see all the different access points that are, again, operating within my organization, whether, again, it's a single location or, again, if I have many, many locations. So I can see here in San Francisco, we have 176 access points that are online. Nothing is offline. Nothing's alerting. Everything is performing very, very well. I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these APs and just give you a little quick view of what you see when you click on an AP. I'm now going into the AP. I can see where the AP is actually located in that building. So again, if we need to do a remote troubleshooting with the CBTS team can blink the lights on this device. They can talk with the customer and tell them exactly where that device is located and help pinpoint it. In addition to that, I can see all the traffic flowing on that AP. I can see what SSIDs are broadcasted, and I can see all the historical data for this particular access point. I can see the usage, the number of users, etc., all here at the palm of my hands. But in addition to that, what we also are able to do is provide some very, very cool things so that wireless, again, as I mentioned, everything is connecting wirelessly. And if wireless goes down, this can be a huge problem for your customer. And what we've created is what we call wireless health. And if I click on wireless health, this is going to give me an overview of the entire wireless connectivity for my organization. So I can quickly identify what exactly is going on. So again, here I can see here the number of people that are not authenticating onto the actual network. It's a 40% fail ratio. And what does this mean? Either they type their password credentials incorrectly, and it's not an actual problem, just they had an authentication issue from failing. I can tell you if it's a DHCP issue. So if there's an issue that erupts wirelessly within the network, they can call into CBTS, and within seconds, CBTS has this data, has this information, and can immediately start troubleshooting to minimize downtime and to pinpoint exactly where the issue is lying when it comes to wireless connectivity. One other thing I'll really point out too.
Throw in another quick tidbit here. One of the really cool things as Amir works through this dashboard, really it's relevant to any page that he shows, is as he's going over the pages and you see pop-ups or you see like a highlight or a bubble expand, is that almost everything in the dashboard is connected via hyperlink. So if you're looking at a particular problem or you're looking at a particular client and you want more information about the AP they're connected to, or you want to go the opposite way, you're looking at an AP, but you want more information about a particular client that's using that AP, simply clicking on the thing that you're currently highlighted will actually take you directly either up or down in the stack. So it makes troubleshooting and isolating issues just very easy. I like to say that in the Meraki dashboard, I think everything is no more than like 3 or 4 clicks away. You can solve any problem. It's pretty amazing.
Yep, absolutely. And to your point there, right, Alex, I'm just going to show that because I think you bring up a great point here, right, guys? So I can see here, this is the access point we're on. I can see that it's plugged into port 2. And Alex's point, if I actually click on port 2, what's going to happen now, this is going to take me to the actual switch that is powering this AP. And we can quickly see here's actually port 2. We can see it's a PoE port, and we can see exactly what's going on within that particular switch port. And if I want to even get a little bit more intense to do more remote troubleshooting, I can actually go ahead and say, hey, let's run a cable test. And I can run a cable test, and immediately I can see here the length of that cable is 114 meters long, and everything came back, and the status of that port is okay for where that AP is plugged into. So again, just very, very powerful from what you can see here. And if we talk about troubleshooting and we want to go even further, I can actually go here and I can actually click on topology. And when I click on topology, the switches within this environment are so intelligent that when you plug in a Meraki switch into the customer's network, within minutes, it will automatically draw out a live topography of the actual network diagram. And if you add devices, you remove devices, this will update within minutes. So the days of an outdated Visio diagram, us scrambling to understand how the network is set up, what's plugged into what, we never have to worry about that. Even further, this is actually a live heartbeat of the network. And what I mean by that is if we hover over these lines, I can actually see what port those are plugged into, the speed between those two actual devices, as well as the number of clients connected within or on that particular device. So again, just very, very powerful information that you can see. One other thing I'm going to show you guys here, because we can spend a lot of time in the Meraki dashboard going through all the great features and the visibility that's built in here. But one thing I do want to point out is the importance of our technology, not only being that it provides great connectivity and great visibility, but for many of your customers who have foot traffic in their business and want to understand what is going on within their environment, these devices are intelligent. So our wireless devices are able to count the number of people who actually pass by that particular access point. It actually tells you the number of people who actually visited your establishment and how many people have actually connected. It also tells you how long were they connected for. And again, are they an occasional visitor, a weekly visitor, or a daily or a first-time visitor? Extremely powerful data. If I'm a customer and I'm running a promotion to get net new customers coming into my business, what's an easy way for me to keep track of this? Fantastic. I can now use my NaaS dashboard to tell me how many new customers I have this week or this day. And again, if I'm not seeing, maybe I'm a restaurant and I'm not seeing a ton of repeat visitors or people coming back to my organization, then maybe that raises some concern for me. So again, this data can be used in many different ways. I can also compare two locations to one another to see which one has more traffic, who's engaging, how many repeat visitors are coming. So again, extremely, extremely powerful information.
Amir, talk a little bit too. One of the things that I was amazed by with Meraki is its API, and that API is access both for the customer and third parties. And so one of the things we're seeing is that there are third parties like Purple, like you guys are going to talk about some other ones, but companies like Purple or Skyfi, that this API can be used to, you've got a customer coming into a location, we know that customer's here now, and we send them some kind of offer to their application they're running on their phone. It can be Bluetooth aware, et cetera. So there's also, Meraki is a very open environment from its API for your marketing people in the company to start doing things down the road. That's one of the things that was always interested me about the wireless side of Meraki.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. And before we kind of move on here, how are we doing from a time perspective? Because I do want to leave some time to talk about the APIs. Can we continue doing a little bit more of the demo?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that. Get excited. Thank you. Yep.
We also had a couple questions come through, if I could ask them real quick.
Absolutely.
Okay. So does Meraki support guest Wi-Fi networks?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, 100%.
Guest Wi-Fi is almost a use case. It's so big. Yeah, I think I was thinking as Amir was talking there about this example with the Wi-Fi analytics. Obviously, that's kind of a key point of retail, right? Is understanding who's coming into your building, how long are they staying, things like that. Are there other verticals that you see particularly friendly to the benefits of the Meraki dashboard? I know I have a few examples of my own.
Yeah, the restaurant is definitely a big vertical for us as well too. I think any business that has foot traffic, these analytics are very, very important for them, just to give them a better understanding of what is kind of going on in the business and how they can better advertise, to Matt's point, using APIs to those perspective foot traffic basis. But yeah, we see that in hospitality, we see it in retail, we see it in the food vertical. What else are you seeing, Alex, on your side?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Meraki deployments pretty much in every vertical. It's kind of amazing. You know, people tend to think that networking products get pigeonholed sometimes, but everything from, you know, churches, you know, offering, you know, cameras for service in these times. You know, we've got obviously a bunch of retail customers. We've got healthcare. Wireless, of course, is big in healthcare, but also just the visibility into, you know, the network, right? In healthcare, I think, you know, understanding your device health is more important than people realize. There's so many devices on the network that that patient lives actually depend on, and having visibility into that is really important.
And then we had one other question come through. Do customers get admin access to the solution?
Yes, we allow code management access, and in fact, encourage it for the customers that are tech savvy and want to get in there and manage their own networks. But I do want to stress that it is a fully managed solution from CBTS. So you know, if you have a customer that doesn't want to do any IT work in the dashboard, that's perfectly acceptable. If you have a client who's got a team of 20 network engineers and they want to consume this product, but they want their network engineering team or their, you know, their help desk or any member of their organization to have access to be able to make changes or read reports, it's all open for them to do so. Any other questions?
Sorry, one other quick question. Can CBTS take over management of an existing customer Meraki network?
I'll take that. Yeah, we can. It's kind of an individual case basis. So we really kind of need the size of the situation and what we're trying to do. Like we're in the middle now of talking to a customer with 1,400 locations, and they have some equipment that they want us to come in and manage as they convert over time. We certainly can do that. We've had situations where we've combined Meraki resources that they own along with our resources to make sure you can route between those. So we probably need to handle those on an individual case basis and meet with you and a partner and talk about it, whether it's the right fit. We've also then had situations where maybe somebody's got 30 locations. They're like 3 locations into purchasing and own their equipment, but they want to move to manage. And we'll just take those 3 locations, bury it in the product, and just go ahead and put new equipment even in those 3 locations, let's say they had. So it really needs to be kind of individual case basis, but we'll look at that.
Okay, that is all for now. So Amir, go ahead and take it away again.
Excellent, guys. I'm just going to showcase 2 other small things in the dashboard, which I think are very, very powerful. I want to showcase our optical sensors, which are the Meraki cameras. And again, this is very, very powerful technology. As I mentioned earlier, we look to solve problems. So again, we're taking a look at a staircase here in Meraki HQ. Let's say we had a situation occur here, and I want to search footage to what exactly happened. I can come here to the dashboard. I can click motion search, and I can pick here a small 4x4 area. So each one of these cues is 4 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to pick a few of them. And I'm going to say, hey, I want to see what happened last Friday. And any motion that occurred in this small little area here, I simply just hit enter. And what's going to happen here is down below, I'm going to see footage for exactly what happened last Friday. So I see an incident occurred. I click on it, and I can come in here now. I can go ahead and hit play, and I will see exactly what motion occurred in that small section of what exactly transpired here. I can see the gentleman coming down the stairs. I can quickly export that to the authorities or whoever needs to have that information, all within seconds. This in your traditional camera system would take your customers hours to be able to do this. The other thing I want to showcase is the analytics. We talk about analytics for wireless, but the days of the camera just being on the wall and just being there for physical security, those days are long gone. I can tell you how many people are actually visiting the business by the hour, by the minute, what time of day is the most busiest. And this data is very, very, very important to your customers to be able to make better decisions around their customer base and how best to engage. And Matt talked about APIs, and I'm going to get in here in just a minute, but I wanted just to showcase that to you. One of the products I want to take a quick look at is our environmental sensors. These are new sensors that are at Meraki. We have a open and door sensor. We have a humidity and water sensor, as well as an open and close sensor. So I can come in here, I can click on sensors, and I can see here that in our coffee bar in San Francisco, we have a couple temperature sensors. And I can click on, again, here the coffee bar. And if I go into the coffee bar, what I'm actually going to see here is the temperature of the actual environment. It's 75 degrees. I can see an average, a high and a low. Why is this important? Let's say I have a refrigeration system, and I want to make sure that, obviously, food in that refrigeration system does not spoil. I can actually set alerts where it says assign alert profile. I can say, hey, if the temperature exceeds this number or falls below this number, I want to know. If a door opens or closes, I also want to know. Or if the level of humidity exceeds a certain number, I also want to know. And again, guys, what's really powerful here, this is all through the same dashboard. We're managing switches, access points, wireless, cameras, IoT sensors, and we also do SaaS application software, mobile device management, and so much more. But this is a very, very, very powerful interface. From that, I'm actually going to talk to you just real quickly to give you some examples about APIs and how we are utilizing APIs and how CBTS can help your customers build a phenomenal solution around not only Meraki, but how to utilize APIs to create a fantastic environment and a value-add environment for your customer. Perfect. 1 second here. Sorry, guys. You guys able to see my screen okay?
Yeah, it's not in presenter mode, but we can see the screen.
Okay, yeah, I got a presenter screen. For some reason, it shoots it onto the other monitor, so I'm going to leave it like this. Sorry,
okay.
Guys.
Gotcha.
So, guys, what we're doing with the APIs is Meraki has created an open API environment, and CBTS can definitely assist your customers with building a phenomenal solution. And first and foremost, it does not require any additional hardware. This is all software-based API calls that can be done. And what you're seeing here is using the Meraki camera. What we're able to do here is really provide an environment where we can utilize the camera to be able to best assist us from meeting certain requirements. So we're looking here at health and safety. So if you can take a look at the picture here, this person who's trying to enter this building is getting access denied. And we can see he's getting access denied due to the fact he's not wearing the hard hat. When he's wearing all the proper equipment, he's actually being granted access. So we can see the hard hat on here. And again, he's now able to enter the building. And this is just a prime example of what we're seeing and how this technology can actually help your customers. We're also seeing this be very big today with COVID. How are many of your customers going to manage either going back to the office or allowing customers to come into their establishment with all the different rules and regulations that are being in place? So we can actually go ahead and build APIs to say, hey, if this person is not wearing a mask or not ensuring 6 feet of distancing, that we want to send an alert or a notification to maybe the security team or to someone within the organization so that we are, again, stopping these particular people from, breaking these particular rules. In addition to that, we're also seeing this in the fast food vertical. Are employees wearing a hairnet? Are they wearing an apron? Are they wearing protective gloves when completing their job or their task? So the use cases are abundant. And again, this is just a prime example how we are taking these optical sensors, using the open API platform, and truly bringing a value add to your customers. And we don't stop there. The story gets better and better. The cameras are very, very intelligent. And we can see here that this camera is able to identify this person is actually wearing a helmet and is not coming in with their natural face. We can also, again, see what type of shoes that particular person is wearing. In the next screen here, you can see that this person's actually wearing has a bat in his hand. So we can actually set parameters within this API to say if these objects are outside of the norm, we want to be notified. We have a certain system with APIs that is specifically targeted for schools. So if you were to walk into a campus and you had an object in your hand that looked like a gun, It would immediately send notifications to the school to go on lockdown. We'll be able to pinpoint where that intruder is, et cetera, and really help provide a great level of visibility as well as phenomenal security, whether it's for a school or for any business, to really have more and more, again, visibility of what's going on. And then last but not least, this gentleman enters the building with a mask on. We obviously know this is a red flag immediately, and we can trigger this to, again, to notify security, to notify whoever it may be to either put the business on lockdown or, again, to reprimand this person or, again, to investigate what is going on. Why is this person coming in with a mask and not their true face? A few of the things I really want to highlight here is we don't stop there. We can really take this further. And what you're seeing here is the ability for us, again, to count the number of people coming in an establishment daily, weekly, monthly, by the hour. But most importantly, we can also read their entry emotion. And a lot of people scratch their heads and say, well, why do I want to understand the entry emotion of a customer? So a big customer of ours is Alta. And Alta wants to understand how customers look when they enter the store, because during peak hours, they realize a lot of people are actually leaving the establishment. And what they realize is that they put a hostess in the entrance of the store during peak hours to greet customers as well as to navigate customers throughout the store. And it provided a much better customer experience. We have a lot of restaurants who want to understand customer emotions when they enter. Does the restaurant smell bad? Is when the front counter is busy or the bar is busy, do people turn around and leave? Are they upset? Are they angry? So entry emotions can be beneficial to every type of vertical, and we're seeing many, many use cases, again, around entry emotions, the importance of entry emotions. And then a few other that are very, very powerful is, wouldn't it be very beneficial for your customer to understand the gender breakdown, yet alone the age of their customer? So we can actually give your customers very, very strong data to understand, is it a heavy mix of female or male? What's that age bracket look like? Are we marketing and targeting that particular customer that we're looking for? And again, really just, again, very, very powerful analytics. Last but not least, we have another API integrator called VApp. And what they're doing is, again, really, really heavily focused on retail. And like a lot of the other same analytics that you saw in prior slides, they take it a little bit further. And they're actually even able to give you the dwell time around a certain kiosk. So if I'm hanging around, you know, the Nike t-shirts and you know, the shoe section, I can tell you how much time that customer is dwelling around that particular kiosk. And maybe, why are people not walking all the way to the back of the store? Do I need to change the layout of my store to get better flow? What type of devices are people who are coming into my store, what type of device do they have, an Android or an Apple? Maybe I'm spending a lot of money advertising on Apple platforms, when in reality, I should be spending a ton of money on Android, as a huge portion of my customers are on Android. So again, guys, I just wanted to give you a little taste of what we see here and what these different apps do. I noticed Jeff put the apps.meraki.io link in the chat room. I encourage you guys to take a look there. You can click on it, and not only will you see the integration from APIs on a camera level, but you'll see it for wireless, you'll see it for switching, and for all the different products that we carry. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to CBTS, as they will be happy to assist you. And Matt, I'm going to pass it back to you. I'm not sure if we have any other questions, but thank you.
Sorry, Matt, you were muted. You were unmuted now.
Do we have any other questions there?
Yeah. So one question that came through, what licenses does CBTS offer on Meraki?
Okay. Yeah, we, in particular on the MX devices, we use the advanced security license. So we are enabling all of the advanced security features, because there are a couple different ways to do that. So we're using all the top licensing packs on the MX device.
Okay. If my customer already has Meraki, can they add the sensors or cameras on through CBTS?
That's a good question. Alex, what's your response to that? Is it about really the dashboard and how we're going to combine them?
Yeah, in short, yes, absolutely. We can add any Meraki devices to an existing customer. What we'd want to do is make sure that we talk to the customer and understand exactly how you know, they want to merge that experience, because there is some back-end licensing at play there. So we need to make sure that, you know, we're not impacting their licensing and they're not impacting ours. But it's something that we can do regardless of their decision. It just requires a little bit further conversation. But yes, absolutely, we can deploy devices into an existing customer.
Okay, all the other questions were answered through Jeff, through the Q&A and through the chat, so thank you for that. So Matt, if you'd like to close out and discuss the next webcast that we have next week for customers, please do so.
Absolutely. Give me share capabilities. I'm not seeing it here.
Okay.
There we go. All right, so the next thing we're doing next week is really kind of an extension of this. There we go. Sorry about that, operator. It's an extension of what you just heard right here. You know, we spent quite a bit of time, first a little bit of, Alex spent a little time talking about what we thought the value proposition was for your customers. Spent a lot of time in the dashboard. We're not going to do as much time in the dashboard. When we meet with your customers, we'd like to explore a little bit to show them what the entire range of the solution set is, all the way from the SD-WAN and firewall, UTM edge, through the switches, cameras, APIs, et cetera. Kind of make sure they understand the scope of that. But focus a lot of time on business outcomes. What are the business problems we're trying to solve? Probably even go through a typical use case of a particular customer and the business problems we solve and what equipment we deployed for that. We'll talk a little bit about how we deliver the solution so they get a real feel for the fact that this is an end-to-end inclusive experience for them. And we will do some more work on the APIs as well. I think, Amiri, that story of the fact this powerful API and these third-party companies that are starting to write some very innovative applications to solve business problems in the past we've seen is a good message out there to customers. So please, if you would, join us next week. We want to do this again. If you've got any suggestions on what we need to add, et cetera, please pass it on to us. And thank you for attending. Thank you, Amir and Jeff. We'll see you guys again next week. Thanks, Alex, Gabby. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. So you guys have a good day.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, Matt.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Everybody.